Blogosphere. I bought some of these cheapo LED grow lights off Tinternet as a little bit of extra light for my chilli seedlings. And these are rated as nominally 100 watts in this size, and if we plug them into the hoppy, we'll find that the actual consumed power is about 68. Too much for my liking. They run pretty hot. Although this aluminium housing will get rid of some heat, it won't get rid of as much as I'd like. So I've taken to turning them down. If we plug this one in, you'll see that this one is pulling only 10.5 watts. I'll show you how it's done. So these lamps are simple enough. They rectify the mains and then take the DC through the LEDs and through in series with one of these linear current regulating chips. And the current in each loop is set by a programming resistor, which is, the current is 0.6 divided by the resistance. Simple enough idea. Put a bigger resistor on, current goes down. Trouble is, these aluminium substrate boards are a real pain in the arse to get hot. So I'm going to show you how I go about changing them to a lower value. What I've found is that with a single soldering iron, even with a hot air gun helping out, you really can't get these hot enough to desolder them. And you can't get it on the hot plate because it's got stuff on the back. So what I do is fairly carefully break each surface mount resistor with a pair of side cutters, thus. And that means you can desolder each end individually, which you can do fairly easily with just a hot iron. Now, there is a risk that you pull a pad up doing this. I'm alright with that risk. You know, these aren't hideously expensive. Your mileage may vary, but you know, I think it'll be okay. Next up, I'm going to clean up these are conformal coated, so I'm going to clean up a little bit of the coating around each one so that I can get the soldering iron on them. And now, with an iron set on 450 and potentially a little help from a knife, I should be able to take one end of the resistor off at a time. There we go. As you can see, the pads have survived just fine. I'll repeat that for all the other ones. Now I just need to clean off all the nonsense, any bits of broken resistor and any of the loose bits of conformal coat, and we're ready to fit some different values on here. In terms of getting the replacements on, I found that the simplest and easiest way to do it, although these are 1206 pads, it's easier to put a high value 805 on them first, and then if you need to, you can either use that 805 as your replacement, whatever value you might be happy with, or you can put a higher value and then stack some more in parallel on top of it to get the value that you want. Now, I did have the originals on here were 8R2, I think, which should give a total of 75 milliamps per one of each of these. These are 62 ohm 805s, So significantly less current. That gives me the 10 watts overall for the whole lamp. I'm probably going to stack another one on top in parallel for 20 watts per each. But just to, as a first test, to make sure I haven't damaged anything in so doing, I'm just going to do it all with one resistor per each. With a high value resistor, you don't really need to worry about the power dissipation. So using a smaller package, no big deal. So now I can plug this in and see if it still works. This is going to be bright and probably flickery. Yep, works fine. All nice and consistent. So now I can stack more resistors on top of this to whatever total current I desire. If you're going to try and use these, whether modified or in their original form, do be careful. You've got to treat the isolation between mains and the metalwork as basically non-existent. You know, it's 0.1 of a mil of FR4 made to the lowest possible cost. You know, assume that the metalwork is live and/or may short out and cause a fire at any time. You know, I wouldn't use these anywhere where I'm not going to be in attendance. Certainly not going to put them near anything flammable. And you know, my wanting to run them at a lower current so that they don't heat up as much is part of that as well, because the cooler you keep this, the better the FR4 is going to survive and provide isolation for a longer time. But anyway, hope you found this useful. If you're going to try these, let me know how you get on. Good luck with your solder modifications. Stay safe, don't lick the electric, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.